All right, just what's going on? Oh, my thing just faltered. Anyways, my mixer. Yeah, I finally got the show out on Twitter. Everybody can see that hopefully. And join us. Welcome. It is the Games Talk Live podcast. We planned on having a third person here tonight. Jake, he was going to come in tonight and talk to us about some stuff that's been going on, and we'll talk about that stuff with the PS5 Pro and stuff a little bit later. Unfortunately, he had some work stuff that held him over late, and he will not be joining us. So that sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? Is Hargeet is here, as always. Hargeet, welcome, my friend. How have you been? What have you been up to? Not that I don't already know, because we've actually played games together, or at least been in party chats together lately. So.
Yeah. I've been working a lot of work, and then I've been playing Crimson Desert. I finished up. What the heck was the stupid thing called? The new DLC for Starfield is
it was like Assless
Terran
Chaps or something.
Armada.
Terran Armada. It wasn't Assless Chaps. And sorry.
Yeah, Assless Chaps. That would have been more fun, I suppose. But
oh, Starfield.
Yeah, I don't know. This was just like, it was literally like a side mission. It's like, okay, whatever. So it was all right. If you want to fly around a lot, that's what you do. But otherwise, like,
you were telling me that it was kind of just like a tutorial for some of the new features they've added.
Yeah, you now have the ability to like just go from planet to planet, right? So you can kind of set it and you hold down LB and it does cruise mode, and you can just keep going, and it'll kind of accelerate and decelerate for you. So you can go between planets within a star system if you don't want to do the simple like I'll just warp to the next planet thing. So fair enough, fine, but that was basically what they did. The game mechanic is the new enemy can turn off your warp engines, and so you have to actually manually go there and kick their butts and destroy that ship so that you can now warp again, right? It's like, or space jump as they call it. Anyway, so yeah, whatever. So that was basically it.
I mean,
lather, rinse, repeat. It's like
something new.
Fine. Yeah. So for those who want to do that, hey, there you go. The story was passable. Whatever, it was fine. I don't know. There wasn't that much to it. It just didn't. It wasn't like the real full game. I thought Shattered Space was more interesting, but apparently people didn't like Shattered Space. I don't know. I thought it was good, but whatever. Maybe people like this more. I don't know. But either way, I got Crimson Desert, and that thing's a monster. It's a lot to it.
Huge.
So
I'm glad that you're actually like, you seem to be enjoying it last night. Like when we were playing, you were getting into it and like asking some questions and then going, oh yeah, that's cool. You know, I really can't wait till you get more involved with some of the puzzles, because again, they're more like Zelda-esque puzzles, like Tears of the Kingdom, that sort of stuff. And I actually like them. I actually like the puzzles in this game.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I've gone through a couple of them. It is interesting how they do nothing. They don't tell you anything, right? You kind of figure out what's going on. But yeah, it works. You kind of just figure it out, and then get through them. One of the cool things is it does have verticality. So I did. For those who haven't played it, maybe I won't get too much into it, but there is a part where you start going into a very, very high area, and then you have to descend. There's an interesting way that they do that. So I won't get into that, but I'm sure fans have done that. Obviously, it's way in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Dude, that was pretty interesting.
I got like 240 hours in the game already. Like, it's insanity. It's insane.
I have it like 2 or something. I don't know how many hours.
I haven't. I mean, I have talked to like Death about this game the past few weeks, and so I'm not really going to get into much about Crimson Desert. Still loving it. Still playing it. I want to talk more about like some of the games that have been coming out recently, and not that I played them, but it's good to see some games finally hitting Xbox, finally just hitting the store shelves at all, for everyone. You had Pragmata the other day from Capcom, and it got a really decent score. I was actually really surprised about it, because for me, and this is just me, people, I played the demo and I really didn't like the combat. And it's because I didn't like the little hacking game you had to play before you can shoot your like heavy weapon. I didn't care for that at all. And that is like the mechanic that is there throughout the whole game. You constantly have to do this little hack before you shoot these bullets. And it's just like, I'm not going to do that for 20, 30 hours. I'm sorry. I'm not. Even for 10 hours, I'm not doing it. But a lot of people seem to like that mechanic. So maybe it's just me. I'm wrong here, maybe. But that's, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it, Hargeet.
Yeah. I haven't tried the demo, so I don't know if it's good or bad. It just depends on how irritating it is in the moment, right? So I'm not sure. But 87 on OpenCritic, that's pretty good. So throw that up there and potentially one of the Game of the Year nominees. So
it might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Capcom, obviously, you know, despite what I say about this game, it's well liked by many people, and Capcom is on a roll. They're doing some big
RE
things. Like,
and this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. RE9 is incredible. RE9 should get a nomination as well. That was a fantastic game. I liked that one a lot. So I had a great time with RE9. And again, I haven't been playing the Resident Evil games for some years now because I can't get into the first person ones and stuff. They're just not for me. But RE9 felt like a callback to the older games. I said this before, but I liked, I mean, of course, Leon's there and you know, it's just a lot of fun. But yeah, and then you had Hades 2 finally hitting Xbox in Xbox Game Pass, so that's out. So people are being able to enjoy that now. I'm not a fan of roguelikes, but I did play a bit of Hades because it was actually, I was having fun with it, but I did get tired of the roguelike loop. I'm not a big fan of it. And then also, finally, one that I was looking forward to, Replaced is out today. And it's got a 79 on Metacritic, I believe. But again, I don't look to Metacritic for like my scores. Like, look to the people that you trust and hear what they have to say. And so far, from the people that I know that are playing it, they actually really like it. And it looks really good. So I might just pick it up because it's $20, Hargeet. It's nothing. And it's in Game Pass, right? I think it's in Game Pass for you.
Yeah. They announced that a long time ago, right? So, yeah.
And it looks really good.
Yeah.
But it's like this 2D, side-scrolling, cyberpunk-esque world. It's right up my alley. So I really want to try this one. So I'm probably just going to pick it up and play it as soon as I'm done with Crimson Desert. And then also, shout out to BT Maverick. Last week when we were on the show, and we were talking about Shadows of Mordor and all these games. He actually picked them up for me and sent them to me via Steam. And I shout out to you, BT. I appreciate that. I know they weren't like breaking the bank for you or anything. They're on the cheaper side. But look, anytime anybody sends me anything, I am so appreciative. Thank you. That's awesome of you. And I'm definitely going to check them out and try to play them more because I didn't give them a fair shot when I first tried to play the game back in the day. And I think the reason was, with the first one anyway, Hargeet, is I was too addicted to, what was the game? Destiny and Destiny 2. I was, those two games kept me from playing so many games last gen. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So definitely going to be trying that, BT. So
but not Marathon.
Appreciate you.
Isn't keeping you away from Crimson Desert.
Marathon? Who's playing Marathon? I don't think anybody's playing Marathon anymore. Not even Gaz. Shout out to Gaz. I was talking to him today, and he's got well, I'm not going to say, but anyways, he's doing good things with, what do you call it? The insider gaming that he's with now. So that's kind of cool. I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he's doing things with them, and people are all upset about it. They're like, "Why do you got this shill, this fanboy shill in insider gaming?" And no, Gaz is a very smart dude, and he can play all these roles very well. Not that he's fake or anything. He's not. But he could be serious, and he could be, funny and sarcastic, and play the satire role. It's fun. It's fun. Anyways, so I don't know. Are you looking forward to playing Replaced? I didn't ask you.
Yeah, at some point, obviously it's in Game Pass. I'll definitely give it a chance. But it looks kind of cool. The problem though is this is why I didn't want to get Crimson Desert. I'm going to be in that thing for like a month.
You will be. It's going to take a while. You're going to get to the point though where you're going to be like, okay, I'm just going to go through the campaign. Enough.
Yeah, like finish
and
it.
I'm going to get to that point eventually.
Yeah.
But right now I'm like going around and taking care of all the little things on the map, trying to finish a lot of things. I'm definitely not going to 100% Crimson Desert. I'm not.
Yeah.
Because
up one, right?
Because I heard it could take you upwards of 400 hours. I'm not about that
long time.
Okay. But I mean, at 240 hours already, I mean, technically I could, but do I want to? My sanity says, hell no. At some point, I'm just going to say, okay, now it's time to finish the campaign. I'm already in chapter 12. There's only like 14 or 15. So I'm not far
so you're pretty
away
close to the end.
Yeah, I'm really close. Really close. And I only have one more upgrade for the camp before it's moved to another camp. I hope that's not a spoiler, but anyways, yeah, I have like 1 or 2 more upgrades for the camp. Anyways, yeah, so it's going pretty good. Aside from that, as I told you before the show started, I didn't play anything today because I'm really freaking tired. I was up late doing taxes with the wife, and let me tell you, taxes are fine. Taxes are pretty easygoing until you have to do taxes in 2 different freaking states. And one of them being California, where they just want to, I almost said the R word there. They just want to take everything from you. And they try it, man. And they don't like you leaving their state. I can tell. I can tell by the way they did these taxes on me and taxed me. Like, F you, California. I'm glad I'm gone. Never coming back. I'll visit. But that's because I have family there. And I'm visiting for LA. So
yes,
FanFest is back. So
yes.
I'll be there. That's going to be a lot of fun. You and I will be hanging out and, rubbing elbows with many other people out there. Like BT. BT will be there again this year. So we'll be able to see BT Maverick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, it'll be fun times. Good stuff. I don't know when those
tickets
my friend, SPF start coming up, but we'll
and you, my friend, you will be able to relax.
Yes.
You don't have to lift a finger this time.
To post it.
Or pull out the wallet, right? You don't have to do much. You can just sit there.
There was that too. It was quite
show.
Quite an expense, but yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
To the team. We put together a lot. It was pretty good last year, but yeah, it was work.
Yeah. I mean, I gushed over it last year, and that's because it was all about just hanging out with other gamers. We had Sony guys there too. We didn't have just Xbox gamers there at the showcase. It was really nice. So, can't wait to hang out with some good friends, some good times, some good eats. And, we'll run into the other guys again that we've seen and had on the show and bring them back to the show, like Xbox Ready Ray and stuff. Like, these guys. I need to hit up Dustin Can Fly again because I've had him on the show before, and he told me last year he would definitely come back. He enjoyed his time, but I haven't slipped my mind. Anyways, BT says he's booked. He's all booked. He's ready for June. Friday to Monday.
Nice.
Yeah, I will definitely meet up with you. Yeah, I heard Mag is going. That's good news. So many people are going to be out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to see a lot of pics, a lot of videos, a lot of stuff from us and other people. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Anyways,
good times.
Anyways, let's talk about this. So, Take-Two and Rockstar were threatened by a hacking group recently, and apparently, they demanded some money for the information that they got from Rockstar. And basically, Rockstar and Take-Two gave them the finger and said, we ain't giving you shit. And they didn't. So the hackers, Hargeet, the hackers actually did them a favor, because what they did was they put out their financials on what they make on GTA Online. And what this caused was their stock to rise over $1 billion. So
Nice.
so the hackers didn't accomplish anything here. So they released some info on GTA Online, and we've all seen it. GTA Online apparently makes about $1.3 million a day, making
Wow.
$500
That's
million
pretty good.
annually. Okay. And most of it's due to shark cards and stuff. But what's crazy is, like, if you think about it, and they've got over 6,000 employees, I think, worldwide at Rockstar. But you've got that other company, Epic, with Fortnite, that makes like $5 billion a year off Fortnite because the skins are like 20 to 40 bucks a pop. It's insane how much they make. They have like 4,000 people there. Yet they just cut a bunch of people because, you know, hey, we made a little less last year. And I'm thinking to myself, how greedy do you have to fucking be if a company like Rockstar can keep all these people employed? And I'm not saying Rockstar doesn't sometimes, you know, let go of people or whatever, but it just puts a lot in perspective. I'm like, they're making 500 million. And I'll say, dare I say, only making 500 million annually. But that's compared to 5 billion with Fortnite. It's insanity. But going back to Rockstar real quick, I just wanted to put that out there because it's a bit odd. One of the interesting things was this chart that came out. This is basically the first number you see here is, I believe, the amount of players, I believe. Or is it the second? I can't read the top of it there. I believe it's the amount of players. Yeah, it is the amount of players that they have on
So
each
it says
console.
weekly active users in the middle, and
Yeah.
then weekly bookings.
There you go. So the PS5 has 3.5 mil, close to that. And they're spending 4.5 mil weekly on this game. On the online, GTA Online. PS4 still has almost 2 million players. That's wild to me. Xbox One has has over 1 million players still. And look at the money generated from each of these. Series X, 1.1, yet they're still generating almost $2 million weekly on this for them online for GTA. Yeah. Now, here's the kicker, though. The real story here is PC guys. We're freaking cheap. we're cheap. We're not spending. Okay. You got almost 1 million players here, but only 264,000. I say only. That's a lot, but per week. But damn, are we cheap. PC guys aren't paying. And this is why you always see other people, or, you know, these publishers and stuff, you know, they talk kind of down, some of them do, about PC players. They talk down because they're like, oh, they love to freaking pirate, or they don't like to spend money, or they just wait for sales. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of the truth. I mean, a lot of PC guys, especially when it comes to like, when Sony, this is a prime example, Hargeet, Sony, when they were putting their single player games over there, people over there on Steam were just saying, still too expensive. I'm going to wait for a sale. And then when they had a sale, they were still saying, it's too expensive. It needs to be cheaper. And that's just like the mindset. And I'll admit, I'm like that too. They're not all pirates, because I'm not a pirate at all. I don't steal any games, but I do play the games. And I do buy some games, but I usually buy them cheaper. That's just the truth. I look for deals. And I don't think anything is wrong with that. I think as a consumer, you have every right to look for those deals. Stealing, I don't condone it. Don't condone it at all. I know some PC guys do. They're like, yeah, steal it. Yeah, if they got DRM and all this shit on there, go ahead and pirate. And I'm just like, nah, that's just not me. I don't know. How do you feel about this list and everything about this GT Online thing? Hargeet?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting to see that like the health of still how many players are still playing this thing on the older gen, right? PS4 and Xbox One. Um and yeah, like it's still generating a good chunk of cash on those. Uh as far as the PC, you have to also look at this as GTA, right? So
Mm-hmm.
did it actually like didn't how long was it? Was it a year later that it came to PC or more than a year later that it came to PC? So if you're gonna like delay it that long, a lot of people are gonna pick it up on the console platforms and play it there. So but to your point, there's still like a million-ish players and they still don't generate as much revenue. Eh, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what the core player is on a PC that will not
Somebody
engage.
mentioned, and I
It,
don't know how true this is, Hargeet. Somebody mentioned though on PC, there's a lot of private servers that are made, and they just do a lot
yeah,
of RP stuff there, and they don't really contribute too much to the spending.
yeah, and there's also it's the Xbox store or the PlayStation store versus more open stores, so there might be more discounts. To your point of like, hey, things are cheaper when you buy them on PC because there's competition. Maybe the same things you're buying on the Xbox or the PlayStation might be cheaper, right? So the amount of revenue gained is lower because it's just cheaper. That's also a possibility, right? There might be more sales. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, right? It's interesting. But it is interesting how much they make. Like that's pretty crazy. They're still making that much on a weekly basis, right? They're still
Okay,
making that
so
much money.
so how do they navigate? This is a question, good question, I think. Hargeet, how do they navigate a GTA 6 online plus having this? Because you would think they would keep GTA 5 online, right? For all these people that haven't moved
Well,
to a new console.
I mean, it's not GTA 5 online. It's just GTA Online.
Yeah. So how do they navigate that? Because do they just kind of incorporate everybody into this new online system? But then you would
That's
have
what
to
I
pare
would
down a
do.
lot, right?
Well, I mean, do they? I
How do
don't know.
they?
Like, um, I don't what the online is basically it's the same map, but there's totally different things going on, right? That's kind of I've never played it. I think you played it, right? You did
Yeah.
a little bit of playing with.
Yeah, it's
So
pure chaos, but it's the same maps. Yeah.
okay, and so ultimately, it's just can you scale it down, or do you say it has to be current gen and give up the PS4 and Xbox One?
I don't,
Uh,
but with these numbers, I don't think you do that.
yeah.
I don't think you can.
Well, so this is an interesting question. How many of these players will go to a next gen console or current gen console to play GTA 6? Probably a lot, right? So the question is how much does that dwindle, right? So is there enough there to say, hey, PS4 and Xbox One players will upgrade to a newer console, and therefore that number might go down, right? And then the numbers on the corresponding consoles will go up. So maybe that is something they've calculated. It is an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know. But like you
Yeah.
could say the old style stuff is still available on the older consoles, but if you want the new, you have to upgrade to a current gen or a PC at some point, right? But current gen console, and then you can get access to the newer content. That's not unheard of. Was that Horizon, right? Did that Horizon Forbidden West, where
So
the
basically, just pull a
DLC
Don
was only
Matrick on them,
current gen.
right? Pull
Yeah,
a Don
we got a
Matrick on
console
them.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else really like. At some point, you have to kind of like pull people forward if the capability set is required for the new version. But I don't know that you abandon it and say that there's or bifurcate it and say there's a GTA 5 online and a GTA 6 online. I think you just
Yeah.
keep GTA Online and
Yeah.
continue to just drive that growth. I mean, it's an interesting choice to make, but it's a very tough one. That Fortnite is successful because it's the same Fortnite, and you don't suddenly have Fortnite 2 to take away from Fortnite 1. And it's like, no, 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 it's the same Fortnite. The blunder that happened with Black Ops 6 to 7, where you did not keep all the stuff you bought in 6 when you moved to 7, when they promised to do that. That's what you don't want to do, right? You want to have the continuity. And so I don't know. We will have to see what they do with this. I don't know how that's going to
Yeah,
work
I'm
out.
really interested to see how they navigate that because, like you said,
Yeah.
I see the same thing too. It's like it's got to be all in one. It's because it's GTA Online. But
Yeah.
how do you use these same new maps and everything, these new features on these older pieces of hardware? Like it
Yeah.
gets rough, especially with
Yeah, it
the
might be just
Xbox
like when you
One.
boot up, right? Right. That it might say,
Yeah.
do you want, the what was the city they had with GTA 5? I can't even remember the name of it anymore.
Los
Sun
Santos.
Los Santos, that's what
Lo-
it was. Los
yeah.
Santos. Right. And then maybe you do Los Santos and you can still play on the old, but you can choose the new city, and
That's
then it's like,
weird.
no, sorry, this is only available on these
Yeah.
platforms. Right. But you're still GTA
Maybe
Online, right? And you want to play the old, no problem, it's still there. But the new ones will only load up on the new. It's got to be something like that, right?
Yeah.
Call of Duty kind of did that with you bring up Call of Duty and you can choose which game underneath it, right? It has all of them there, and you
Yeah.
choose to install the bits you want and play the game you want. Maybe they just do
Because the
something
way
similar to that.
because like with GTA 6 itself, the campaign anyway, they're not trying to hold that game back with older hardware. So they're going
Yeah.
forward with this hardware and beyond. So
Yep.
it's going to be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting.
Yep. Yep. And then there'll be the next gen upgrade. There'll be the PC upgrade, and likely the next gen upgrade.
Oh,
just
there's
the
going
way
to be
they are.
the way talking amongst different friends and everything, including yourself, Hargeet. We talked about this too. It's like there's going to be different versions of the game that you're going to buy. There's going to be like a legendary edition, or maybe not legendary, but like a collector's edition, and then you have all these other tiers. Like it's probably going to be like from 70, or if they do a $70 game, it might be 80. They might do 80 just for the campaign. And then they'll get you by saying, hey, if you want online day one, when that comes out a month or so later, you got to pay us an extra $20, and it's going to be the $100 edition. And then after that, then there's going to be collector's edition that could be $250, and maybe you get a statue of who knows what. But so I could see them doing that sort of thing. And I think a lot of people see that.
Yeah. And I fully expect like the early access thing is going to happen. It's just one of those things these days, right? So
early access.
Hargeet,
you're a smart man. That's how they'll get the $80 out of people.
Yeah.
Right away. They'll be like,
they'll get it.
You want it early? 5 days?
No problem.
$80.
Yep. I'd be surprised if it's only $80.
Doing $90, Hargeet.
Yeah. I bet you'd be $100.
Yeah, I can see them. Dude,
$100.
If they do that.
Yep. and
it'll work.
It'll work.
It'll work.
There'll be at least 1 million people who will do it. At least, if not more. That game, we were talking about numbers, right? And like the first week number of sales, and with RDR2 and GTA 5, and there'll be a lot of people who will buy this thing like right up front. It's going to be crazy. But yeah.
It's going to be the biggest selling, the most money making game in history.
Yep.
By far. And it's going to it's crazy. GTA is an enigma, man. It's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be there day one. I'm going to play it.
Yeah, I don't know about selling at some point. Maybe it gets there, right? But because right now it's Tetris and Minecraft are like the top ones, right? And they're the 300 to 400 million range. But
yeah, I think when I looked at it last night, I think it was like Red Dead 2 was just like a little shy of GTA 5's numbers, and that was like $700 and something million in the first few days. It was something
I'm talking unit sales, right? Oh Jesus, yeah. Tetris is 520 now. Holy crap!
520. That's insane.
Tetris 520 million, Minecraft 350, and Grand Theft Auto 225. RDR2, by the way, 82 million. Number 4.
Insane. Fuzzy Tomato 22 says it won't outsell GTA 5 in the long run. I don't know about that, but you could be right, because I think that we're at a place now with consoles where even next gen, I think they're going to slow down with how many people buy them, because I just can't see that many people paying $1,000+ for consoles. I don't really see that. And I'm not saying that this will happen. I can't look. There's a lot of people out there that have told me that they simply can't afford anything over $600 when it comes to a console. I've been told that by many people, and I understand. Like, not a lot of people can afford a console at $1,000. So these people that have told me this said pretty much they're going to stay with this console they've got now. They're going to ride it out as far as they can. And if they can't afford to save enough money for a next gen console, they're just out. They'll just do retro gaming and play whatever they can on their current console, and that's it. And they're going to lose a lot of gamers that way.
Well, I mean, these current gen consoles will stay around for a while, but is this Xbox Series X and S, or is it just Series X?
For some reason, it says Series X, but I want to think that it's probably both.
It's both, right? It's got to be both. Yeah,
it's got to be both.
Yeah, and look, Grand Theft Auto 5 sold because I think there's like, if you buy the game again, you get some in-game currency or something like that. I don't know. There was something about that, right? That's why people keep buying it over and over again.
The shark cards and stuff.
That
they buy in the game.
So I guess I don't know if that continues. It probably does, right? I'm sure they'll find some way to do it. Somebody here had a good question. Oh yeah, here. Will it be subscription based? I mean, they got to be thinking about it, right? I mean, why not? Right? It's always a possibility. Get some recurring revenue, just guaranteed, right? So
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, thank you, Cass. Like she said, hit that like button, please, people. I don't ask for much. I usually don't ask people to hit the like button very often, but I just don't think about it. I just come here and talk. So appreciate you. Septic Sauce is in the chat. He says, I blame It's Alex and his communist mentality for these low PC sales. Wow, his communist mentality. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, man, the banana suit wearing guy has been called out. Alex, if you're listening, your response within 24 hours, please.
Is he like Cuban or something? Is that why? Is that what he's saying? Communist?
He is. He is Cuban, I think. Yeah. I think he is Cuban.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I think. Yeah, it's Cuban. Anyways, doesn't matter. Why are you coming in here with that nonsense, Gaz? Come on. Leave that for the DMs. Come on. Stop it. This is a gaming podcast. This is not political. Okay. So yeah, no, I just think it's insane that it's funny that the hacking group was like demanding money, and they're like, okay, since you didn't give us money, we're releasing everything. And then their stock just skyrockets the next day. I mean, that's because investors, they look at that and they go, what? That much money? Oh man, yeah, we need to invest more into this company. They're freaking GTA 6 is right around the corner. We're about to be freaking millionaires, everybody. They already are, but anyways, billionaires. How about that?
Yeah.
Septic Sauce says, nah, it's just that he's more of a cheap bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It could be. No, he is. No, he really is a cheap bastard. He had that. I was surprised when he changed out his microphone boom arm because it used to squeak all the time. And I hit him up one time and I go, hey, I have an extra boom arm. I'm tired of hearing your shit. I will send it to you if you want. He was like, no, I kind of like it. I was like, all right. And then he replaced it. I was shocked.
Yeah.
It's like, so you just didn't want my boom arm. I see how it is. All right. It was like new condition, Alex. It wasn't like I was giving you a piece of shit, Alex. It was $100 boom arm, but I just got one that was better. Anyways, yeah, but I don't know. GTA is going to make a shitload of money, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun with the game. And you know what? This is interesting. How many do you guys think GTA 6 is going to sell the first week? I want you guys to write it in the chat. How many millions of copies do you think this game sells in the very first week? It's going to be a lot, people. So Anyways, moving on from this topic, let's discuss our next. Okay, so this one's going to be really quick because we've talked about this already, kind of a bit here and there, but I need to cover it because it was something that happened this week. Jeff Grubb, he spoke earlier this week on the possible internal delay for Fable. And this sparked a lot of debate online. People were, talking about, it's not happening, it's happening. And then the very next day, Playground Games themselves came out and said, oh no, we'll see you in the fall. So it kind of just fizzled out, basically, the debates. Before that happened, though, I put out a tweet, quoted Jeff Grubb, and I said, I kind of hope this happens for Xbox and Fable's sake moreover, because you want to let the game breathe. I'd rather see it come out early next year than anywhere near some of these bigger titles to overshadow it in the fall. And we've talked about this a bit the last few weeks. Hargeet, what were your thoughts when you first saw this story and then after you found out Playground came out and said, nope, we'll see you in the fall?
Well, I first was like, of course, we don't know if it's actually true, and it's a question of where is this delay supposed to be? To the point of you were bringing up before, right? Like, when do they put these games out? And they should start putting them out earlier in the remainder of the year, not anywhere in the October-November timeframe, and obviously stay away from December because that basically is the runway for GTA.
Horrible.
People are going to be playing GTA throughout November and December, so forget about it. As far as the release time, it was a possibility this come out in September. If it comes out in September, that's fine. You do have to contend with on your competing platform. You have Wolverine coming out, right? And then you have your own games to deal with. Where does Gears fall? So you could do something like Halo, in June, July. It looks like July is where they're lining up there. And say somewhere in August, let's say you put out, Gears, then you could do a September for Fable. I wouldn't push it too much further than like the first week of October, right? So that would be as far as I would see it. So if the delay was, hey, we're planning to put it out in September, they need a few more weeks, that might push it into mid to late October. It's like, no, stop. Just stop. Don't even bother putting it out now. At that point, just go to next year. It's been kind of, there's been only a few times where you see them release games early in the year that are big games, right? I'd rather they have a big game in the first quarter. Let's go. That's a good idea. Let's do that, right? So in that, Jan, Feb, March, go ahead, release something big then. They've had Avowed, which was, I don't know, it's a decent sized game, right? Which was it February? I think that was a February game. But outside of that, like this year again, nothing till Kiln in April, and then in May we get Forza. Great. So your first big game really is Forza in May. But why not have something like that if you've got it in your back pocket? But here's the thing. I don't know what else they have. We already see that the alpha for State of Decay is ready to roll. The beta might be coming at the end of the year, and they might be ready to roll in like that April timeframe for State of Decay, right? So that might be the game that they're thinking early next year. But who cares? It's fine. If you got this in like late Jan, like you're right after your Dev Direct, you're like, we're ready to roll. It's coming right out, and here it is. Boom. You get it like the end of January, and then in March, April, you come up with State of Decay. I'm good with that. Like, they need to start spacing things out a bit more and not rely on everything coming out in the fall. In fact, it's probably better for them as a publisher to say, we already own the fall with Call of Duty. We don't need to release anything else. We need to put stuff in the rest of the year and then let our partners put their games out along with COD, because you already own that. COD is going to be there. Even a failed COD is still going to sell what, 10, 15 plus million copies. So let that be your fall game, and then go ahead and put out other games throughout the rest of the year. And that might be a better thing. September should be your end, right? Because the end of fall, of summer is, September. Colt was having that discussion in his podcast yesterday, right? It's September 20th is the end of summer. It's like up to mid-September. That should be your last game coming out, and then let the rest of the fall, it's gonna be Call of Duty, and let your partners take that. That might be a better path than what they do all the time. Is we have like 3 games plus COD in the fall. It's like, dude, you're killing your own games. What are you doing? It's too
Yeah.
much in one spot.
And you know how we were talking about how like games are piling up on top of each other, even over on the Sony side. You have Phantom Blade, and then 6 days later you have Wolverine. Now, I looked into it, and there's
Why?
even
I know,
more
it's
games.
bad.
There's even more games. Like, what about
I know.
Onimusha?
Yeah,
Onimusha.
we don't know when that comes out.
That's supposed to come out this year. Like,
Yeah, we don't know
how
when
are they
that's
going to
coming out.
space all these games? This is not just an Xbox problem. It's like across the board. And of course, the big player in the room is Rockstar in GTA 6, and that's the reason why they're so nervous to put anything out around the November-October timeframe. But geez, I don't know where these games are going to go. So,
Yeah,
I have a feeling a lot of them are going to be pushed into next year. And I was just thinking that
if they get close
Fable
to that, they should just
be
do
one
it.
of those games.
Yeah,
Because
and so
I would rather a Gears E-Day come out early October or late September than Fable. I want Gears E-Day this year over Fable.
Yeah,
it's just me.
It aligns with their anniversary, right? This is the 20th for Gears. It's the 25th for Xbox. That'll be a franchise they already have Halo coming out, right? But that's going to be earlier. So yeah, I agree with that. Get Gears out, and it looks like they're ready to roll. That's the direct, right? So they're ready to roll. If there's any hesitation, right, it has to slip a week or two. Do not get close to GTA. There's just no point. You're going to kill the game, and it's just not worth it. You might as well wait it out and go. And that was my initial thought, was like, wait till Jan Feb. I'm happy to wait till Jan Feb. Do not put it out anywhere near November or December. It just makes no sense. Forget about it. Call of Duty is the only game that could potentially even compete with GTA. I would still stay away and put it in October. Put it out in the end of October for Call of Duty. I wouldn't even go close to GTA. Just let GTA eat its oxygen, whatever. Let it do its thing. You want the sales anyway, right? You want to have your platform also. Look at the numbers. You saw the numbers. They're making money. They're making bank off of all of that. They're making bank, right? So why wouldn't they want that? They'll want that GTA 6 bump. What the heck, right? So
and
I like it.
You want to see all your games succeed, right? Like, I know a lot of people, and we've talked about this before, like, I know if you're in Game Pass, it's very easy to say, just gimme. Just throw all of them at me. But that's not really the smart move or the smart play for the business side of things. Like, you got to understand, if you get a Gears E-Day in October, why the hell do you need Fable the same month? Right? It's insanity. Like,
I wouldn't do it.
It's crazy.
Because I know the other game that month is going to be COD. It's going to be. They're going to release it at the end of October. It's a given. So you just have to accept that is an Xbox release that's coming every fall. It's like, why not just let that be your fall? But whatever, that's up to them. Maybe they put two games out in that region of time, right? The September through December. Well, really September through November. Put 2 games out, and that's it. One of them COD, one other game, and that's it. And like try to leave it at that. But yeah, I tend to agree with that. So if they can't fit it in earlier, just let it go to next year. It's better. Let it come out next year.
Yeah, I know some people were saying December, but December is awful. No. Not just because of GTA, but because if you look it up too, most publishers do not release big AAAs in December because it's after it's after the sales and everything for holiday, and it doesn't really help their sales at all between December and like the first week of January, because people are tight on money because they've just done all their shopping. So it doesn't behoove these people to release games in December. So, and then you have the other factor that I've mentioned on these other podcasts in the chats anyway. I've said, look, we've heard rumors that GTA Online is launching in December, a month later. So that's another factor. If that launches in December or even January, just steer clear of those months because people are going to jump into that online for sure. So I say at least February. Release it in February. And I think we would, it would be better for the game itself as well. Like, I just want to see these games succeed. I want their time to shine. Every game. It's not about Xbox or Sony. I want these games to do well. Like, I don't like the fact that Phantom Blade is right next to Wolverine.
I don't understand
sucks for Phantom.
It does.
And I know it's not a Sony game, but it's an exclusive to their box. What are they doing?
They should know better. Yeah, they should know better.
It's like
Okay.
they drank the Xbox Kool-Aid and decided to do the same crap that Xbox has been doing with releases. They did
Yeah.
the same thing. Xbox has been doing it with third-party games and their own games, releasing them in the same month, same week, same day even. And it's like, you can't do that. One thing I will say though, Hargeet, it seems though Asha is more cognizant of this sort of stuff, because all these little things that I'm seeing from her and her quotes and stuff, she seems to be trying. And I'm not somebody, again, going back to the beginning of the show, somebody mentioned it. Oh, I appreciate you, Fonz. You don't glaze for Xbox or whatever. I don't glaze for any company, but I do point out when a company is doing something right. And I think that every gamer should do that. I think you should not just call out the bad stuff, but you should say, okay, I think they're doing something right here. And just recently, Hargeet, Asha, it's a rumor anyway, but it's one that has some validity to it, because I've heard some things myself from some friends close to Xbox, and also it just came out with Jez Corden, that internally Asha is really looking into exclusivity. Now, we don't know whether it's timed, whether it's full exclusivity. And not only that, Hargeet, the other thing she mentioned recently that has come out, leaked from internal memos apparently, is that she feels that Game Pass is too expensive. And she's looking at that as well. And if you guys remember, before Jez Corden said any of this stuff, and I'm not trying to be a guy who's got sources or whatever, because I'll tell you straight up who it was. I told you like a month and a half ago that Tim Dog was telling me that Asha and company are looking at all this stuff. They are seriously internally looking at exclusives, looking at Game Pass, looking at restructuring, all that stuff. That's been said here on this show, okay? Courtesy of Tim Dog. He's told me this stuff, and I know Tim Dog does talk to these people because I've seen proof. In person and over the phone. Anyways, that aside, it's nice to see that at least she's calling out something that we've been saying for a while, that Game Pass is too freaking expensive. And we've said that it was no longer, I've at least said that it was no longer the best value in gaming. I said that and I stick to it. $30 for that is way too much. And Asha herself has said that. So apparently, and if I can bring it up, because my freaking, okay, so just to tell you real quick, guys, my OLED monitor, from time to time, it does this thing where it goes into this mode where it like does this thing to try to refresh everything and the pixels and make sure it doesn't have screen burn, basically. And it did that to me right now. So I've got to find my way around navigating without my main screen. And it sucks because the other one is just hot garbage. So Asha herself, by the way, Hargeet, she said this about Game Pass. She said, Game Pass is central to gaming value on Xbox. It's also clear that the current model isn't the final one. This, of course, sparking debate about, are they going to change the price? Are they going to remove COD? All this stuff, Hargeet. What does that mean to you when you hear that?
I think it's good that she's looking at it, right? I think it's good that she realizes that, going up 50% was a bad idea. Now, I've already told you why it happened and people don't want to accept it, but it is what it is. Fine. But if that's something they want to continue to keep pushing, it's going to cost money. I don't see how you get around that. For what they're offering you at, if I take GeForce Now at $20 and say for $10 more, you get every game that this publisher has to offer, not to mention a whole bunch of third-party games, that's actually a pretty good deal. But if you look at it from a gamer who's on a console like me or a PC that like me, I look at it as a shit deal because I didn't sign up for it. I don't want it. I want my $15. To me, that was good. $20, I'm willing to take that. Fair enough, $20. But when you start putting it at $30, it is quite a pill to swallow to say, but why though? Right? And then people keep saying it's COD, and I'm like, you went up $10 a month. That's $120 a year. COD only cost me 70. It ain't COD. It's just not.
No, Hargeet.
So
I will push back
I'm
a little
like-
bit on that, because I've said myself that it's because of the lack of sales of COD, and there's been internal leaks on that, and Jez Corden backed me up on that the other day on Gaz's show. He also said he knows it's because of COD.
So he knows because they're saying it's because of COD, not because of the ridiculous cost of cloud.
No, apparently it's because of the lack of sales of the last 2 CODs. I said that in the chat, and he reiterated that on Gaz's show. He said that's the reason.
I mean, I would be surprised that they somehow say, because the cost of cloud would be somewhere in the 1 to 2 billion range. If you're at 5 billion in revenue, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money going into one service.
Okay, so that brings out another point, though, Hargeet. If they were to remove COD from the service, don't you think then they should lower the price?
Well, I mean, I don't think they should remove COD from the service.
If
I think
they
that
did
would be
because that is a big point of
terrible idea.
contention. Well,
So I don't think
Hargeet, that is what's being
even
kicked around internally as well, is removing COD. That's another thing they're kicking around. That's for sure. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. So my answer to that is don't do that, because you set all your games. Because once you do that, then it's done. It's over. Because
where's the line,
games,
right?
Folks.
You're right. You're right.
4 games.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where's the line?
At that point, I'm done. Because it's over. At that point, you're over. You either do it or you don't. You either say you're going to do something, you do it, or you don't. And so if you're going to say, no, well, we decided, well, then you're going to decide on the next game and then the next game, and I'm all set. No, it's either you do it or you don't, right? But a service, you can take that out.
Before you say that really quick, I just want to interject and say, you see, guys, Hargeet keeps it real. You hear what he's saying? He said, if they do that, then it's just he's over it, because that is what Game Pass was about. It's day and date games, all day and date games. So first party games. So I am with you. I am 100% with you on that, because I've seen people defend it and say, oh, COD doesn't really matter to me. But where is the line? Where do they draw that line? When are they going to stop? You were so good when you said just 4 games. Because that right there tells you a lot, right?
Yeah.
It was just 4 games.
Look, and I don't know what the internal thing is versus Jez saying this and that. What I do know is the same internal thing was what Mag found out as well. He said, I found out from internal sources that the price increase was cloud, not COD. So, you can debate whichever. Literally the same hour after they say cloud is general availability, we're increasing Game Pass price. It's like, oh, come on now. Tell me it isn't that. Come on. Right? It obviously was that. But anyway, everybody wants it to be COD.
You know how here's the other pushback I'm going to give on the cloud situation. And look, you know more about cloud and its infrastructure, the costs, all that stuff than I do. So I got to put that out there. But, and this is just me looking over at Sony's platform and saying, well, they have cloud in their service, and their service is a lot cheaper. So how do they maintain that with it being so much cheaper with cloud?
Well, is it cheaper though? Because look, cloud is available to you on the lowest tier of Game Pass, the middle tier of Game Pass, and the highest tier of Game Pass, right? So if you look at it from a premium to premium perspective, Xbox's version is cheaper than the premium version of PlayStation Plus. So not really, and their cloud isn't as ubiquitous, or well, they're not ubiquitous at all, right? It's very limited as far as the cloud availability is pretty limited. But they're both limited, and Sony's even more limited. So I don't see that as being a thing. But theirs is expensive. But you want to see the actual kicker? You can get COD day and date, PC Game Pass, $16.50.
Yeah, no, true.
Guess what PC Game Pass doesn't have?
Cloud. Yeah. Nah, I see that point. It's interesting though, because if that is the case, how many people are truly using cloud on Xbox?
I'm assuming a lot of people have like tried it, right? I think they'll use it when it's conveniently available to you. But if I said, hey, let's split it out, I'll keep Game Pass Ultimate at $20. You pay an extra $20 for cloud access. How many people you think would sign up for that?
A lot more. Anyways, for the ones without cloud, for sure, they would.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as like how many people would sign up for the $20 for cloud access alone?
Oh, no, not for cloud access alone. No.
So maybe like a quarter of the players would, right? Maybe a third of the players would, but I guarantee you it's not going to be everybody. I could care less. Like, take the cloud out. Give me my Game Pass at $20 with all my day and dates. I'm happy.
Yeah, I see that. It's just crazy to me that it takes. Well, I guess sometimes that's how it is in business. You have new leadership, new eyes, and they see things differently. And that's the reason why they change leadership at times. So it's just interesting and kind of refreshing, I will say, to see Asha say certain things that I'm like, finally, I agree with somebody in the top position at Xbox. Like, okay, this is good. But let's see it all in action. Like, because we've heard this song and dance before. We've been here before where we feel good about how Xbox is doing or whatever, and then they step on a rake. So none of this is like, oh, this is what's happening. It's going to be great. But it is good to see little bits and pieces that is coming together, it seems, that at least give you some kind of hope. Like, maybe they can do something. It's going to be kind of hard because this is going to go back, guys. I didn't forget about the exclusivity thing because that's really big. Going back to the exclusivity thing, I maintain that they should go to exclusive games again. I maintain that they need to build great games, make them exclusive to sell their platform. I don't think you sell a platform without exclusive games. For the most part. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because if you look over to Sony, a lot of people are buying just for Fortnite and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, they have that mind share of just, oh, that's the console to get. That's just the one to get. Xbox needs to try to pull some of that and be like, this is the console to get. And guess what? We have exclusive games too. We have Gears of War. We have some great games. Fable, if Fable turns out to be great, they can tout that. Fable's exclusive to this box. Things like that. It's necessary, in my opinion. Now, when we talk about what this internal thing that they're looking at everything, that does mean that they're looking at timed. That means that they're looking at full exclusives. That means they're looking at sales on other platforms. But what do you think, Hargeet? What would you think their best strategy should be here? Should it be, if they do exclusives, timed, full exclusives? What is your thoughts on this?
Look, I'm over exclusives, but if it's of value to the platform in some way, fine, whatever. Do whatever is gonna help your platform. I don't know if the sales of most of the games are that impressive on the other side. If they are, good, right? Whatever. So it just depends. Like, we were seeing good pre-order numbers for Starfield, but when it came to like sales and playing, it was very low. It didn't seem to really hit too hard, right? So I don't know if it's doing that well on PlayStation. So again, they have to do the calculus as to whether it makes sense or not. Forza Horizon 5 did well. Will Forza Horizon 6? Maybe. I don't know. They tried Gears Reloaded. I think that came on PlayStation. I don't think it did so much as far as sales over there either. But then again, it's an old game. I would expect similar for Halo. I don't think that's going to do big numbers over there either. I don't think it's going to do big numbers. Period.
Well, we're talking about Combat Evolved.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's a remake of an old game. So, but on the flip side, Oblivion smashed it. So, like, how do you gauge which one's going to do well? I don't know. So it's a question for them to figure out what makes sense. you could say, hey, look, a game that has applicability to that platform because it's already been there in a series or something like that, go ahead and release it, and maybe just don't do the other ones. Fine. Again, I don't really care. To me, it's all about my Game Pass, my games. That's all I care about. I don't, if they're exclusive, that's great. If they're not exclusive, that's great. I don't care. So
well, yeah.
and for me, the beauty is it's on PC. I can play it on PC.
Yeah.
It's on the console.
I don't think they take. I don't think they take away from PC. I don't think they do that. I think they're so ingrained into that. But the PlayStation, I think that they should have exclusives away from the PlayStation and Switch. I believe that 100%. Just like they
maybe they have to have some. I guess I don't know. I still don't know if I agree with it. But let's say they do some of them and they do them full exclusive or timed exclusive. But say like a game like Kiln, I just don't see why that should be exclusive. It'd be so much better served if you're putting it everywhere, right? Especially Switch, which it's not even coming out on. I think that game would be very good on
made
Switch.
for Nintendo fans for sure.
It is, right?
It's
like, well, why wouldn't you put it there? To me, so you have some applicability on platform choice. I don't know. So they have to kind of work that out. Is there so you could say like the sort of live servicey games did well. Maybe they did better on PlayStation with Sea of Thieves and Forza. But then again, is
live service? I think that I think they should keep those everywhere. Sell them to everybody. Live service games.
But if you're doing that, that means Gears and Halo.
No, I don't really think. Okay, so those are the kind of exception. I think, especially
see what I mean,
with
right?
Yeah. It's kind of like a pick and choose sort of thing. But here's something I did hear that's rumored, Hargeet. So let me know what you think about this. Now, you may have heard part of this. So there's a rumor saying that they're pretty much, I don't think it's much rumor anymore. I think this is happening. So at their showcase, let's say, when they show games that are coming out on all platforms, they're no longer going to show PlayStation, Nintendo. They're just going to show their logo. This is
their logos.
Okay.
All right.
So along with this idea, one of the ideas I heard that's kicking around internally is that they may be timed exclusives, but they won't tell you. So you will get these games that show no PS5 logo at all, and they won't say anything, even if they know these games are going to come out on PlayStation or Nintendo 6 months from now. But maybe the month before, then they'll say, hey, by the way, we're coming out with a PlayStation version or Nintendo, to kind of give you that sense of urgency to buy now. It's like a timed urgency. Like, okay, I need to play this game. I'm going to go buy it because they're not mentioning anybody else. I don't know if it's going to those platforms. And to this person that told me that they're kicking around this idea, I said, that would work one or two times maybe. But after a while, people are just going to be like, wait a minute, everything's coming over here anyway 6 months to a year later. I'm just going to wait. That's the way I see this. So I don't think timed, even in this way, is a good idea. I think either you do exclusives or you don't, period. But if you don't, it doesn't help your console. That's the way I look at it. Danny Passion Official, I want to get to these real quick. Thank you for the 2. He said, price hike was Phil needed a bonus before leaving. I doubt that. Phil is a millionaire. Like, that guy has
multi-millionaire. Yeah, multi-millionaire.
Face 23 became, there's Face. Face, I've missed you, buddy. Like, we've talked about Sony. We've talked about so much. You're finally here. Thank you. It's good to see you. With a $19.99, I appreciate that. He says PSN Premium is $160 a year. Game Pass Ultimate is $360 a year.
Yeah, but you're comparing Ultimate, but Ultimate, it has no equivalent on PlayStation. So there's no point in comparing PlayStation.
There's no day and date. No.
Exactly. So PSN Premium is equal
the highest tiers. Yeah.
So PSN Premium is equal to Xbox's Game Pass Premium. Those two are about the same. They have the
same. Is there cloud on the lowest tier of the PSN?
No.
Do they have
cloud? Is only available in PSN Premium, but cloud is available on every tier of Game Pass, except for PC.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. But yeah, and I know the cloud works well over on PlayStation because Zocker talks to me about it all the time. Says it's really
Well, you understand that Zocker lives like 2 miles from the data center, right? So
good.
yeah,
I
Zocker's
don't know. I
experience
don't
with
know that.
clouds, like, yeah, whatever. Because
He does
you
live in
guys
the
were in
Bay Area,
Frisco.
so yeah,
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 the
yeah,
Frisco
yeah.
area,
When I
you
was in
guys
the
have the
Bay
major
Area,
cloud
GeForce
data
Now
centers.
ran like a dream, and I heard
Yeah,
people living in
shocking.
other places were like, "Oh my God, I'm getting so much latency." I'm like, "What latency?" So yeah, who knows? That could be a factor. But yeah, I just look. Either you make it fully exclusives, these games, or you don't. Like that's the way I look at it. Like timed, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not really going to help your console sales out because most people will just end up waiting. Most people on PlayStation will not buy your console
So
if they know it's
if you
coming.
want to do this timed again, I hate the whole thing, but whatever, timed exclusive thing, it would have to be like a gen. You'd have to wait a whole like 5 to 7 years. Then it would add up. Then it would like actually make it worth it to have say, oh, I don't want to wait that long. I'll go ahead and get the other platform.
Yeah. But
I mean, but at this point, I would just if you're buying a console, buy the console because it's fun to have that console. Otherwise, I mean, seriously, PC is so much better. It's so much better. You can do just everything you want.
But here's the thing: these next gen consoles are going to be a lot better too. They're going to be so much closer to high end PCs
Can't
than
wait
the
for
current
Helix.
consoles we have now.
Can't wait for Helix. We'll see.
You're looking at CPUs that aren't going to be hot dog water. Finally, okay. So you guys are good. Like console gamers, if you just want to stick to consoles, next gen you're going to have a blast.
It's going to be pretty good.
It's going to be a different world.
Both of them. I mean, they sound pretty good on paper.
Yeah.
They sound pretty good. Assuming the specs that we have for leaks are actually anywhere close to reality. We don't know that for fact, but
yeah. I'm just again, like it's not one of those things where I'm like fully on board with this new leadership at Xbox. But I do hear things here and there that I'm like, okay, that's better. Like I hope they do that. Like so we'll see. Time will tell. We'll see what they do.
I mean, look,
but
they have the big one that I've heard that actually I think makes a huge difference is that the massive whatchamacallit profitability margin thing has been set aside.
Yeah.
So they are now allowed to invest, which is fantastic. That doesn't mean that they don't have to be profitable. They have to be profitable, but not at the ridiculous levels they were expecting, right? So the expectation was, get towards 30, and there was someone at like the 18 or something like that. That's not good enough. And PlayStation here is like 11%. Oh my God, 11%. And I'm like, dude, like, why can't Xbox say 10% and say, let's invest? We have all this money coming in. Why don't we invest? Like, I think that is big. And that's why you're seeing like, oh, let me start a team that will just go make Xbox console features. Let's go do that, right? Because they said, no, we only have so many people. We're assigning that to the Windows side now. Well, yeah, but what about the console? So he's like, no, let's start a team to do that too, right? That's what happens once you actually free up the capital to say, well, let's go ahead and spend it on things. And you're going to see more marketing. They just did the Project Helix thing. Right, they sent that out to all these people.
Yeah, that was interesting. That's something we got to touch on. So they sent out these Project Helix boxes, these packages to people, and a lot of people are just like going nuts over this and calling it the next yellow chair. Remember the whole debacle with the yellow chair in Cyberpunk? Every content creator that got a yellow chair just glazed Cyberpunk, which kind of was the truth. But that's that's another story.
I didn't get a yellow chair, and I thought Cyberpunk was fantastic. However, I waited like 3 years to play it because I saw all the bugs.
Yeah. But no.
I will wait.
What was unfair about that too is like a lot of these guys were playing it on PC. A lot of these guys were playing it on the Series X. They weren't playing it on the PS4. Okay, and that's where most of the issues were. Of course, there were still issues on the Series X. I had a few crashes here and there, but nothing like a lot of these people were having on the old gen hardware. Anyways, getting back to these Helix boxes. So they sent a bunch of content creators and other, folks that have a lot to do with, I guess, that have been there for Xbox done things for Xbox. Like Paris is one of those guys. He's a content creator too, of course, but he got a box. Colt got a box. All these people were getting boxes, Destin. And what was in the box was basically a shirt, a hoodie, and a hat and a sweatshirt. And it's like, okay, cool. They got these Helix things. But in my mind, I'm thinking, why so early? Why are they sending Helix stuff? And not only that, here's the other aspect about it, because we talked about this, Hargeet, the release of the FanFest tickets so early. Like, why are these things so early this time? It's like Asha is really trying to make a push, right?
Yeah.
So it seems
Yeah,
like.
it seems like that is what's happening, right? They've certainly turned things around. There's a lot more push to sort of market and be enthusiastic, and you even see them like see bad posts or something like that about Xbox, and they're pushing back on those and saying, "Oh, well, wait a minute, how is that accurate?" And they're actually doing it. Like, wow, there's actually some I guess pride for the brand or something that's going on. It's like they're actually pushing back. Like, wow, so that's good. I mean, I look so far on
But what
paper,
does this
things are
mean
great.
for the?
So,
What does this
for the
mean for
Helix?
their June showcase, though? We
I mean,
might see something.
We there's already a lot of things we could see anyway, right? But
Yeah, but we might see
would we
Helix
see
there.
hardware? Would we see hardware? I mean, it feels like it's ready, right? Because I think they're ready to announce something. That doesn't mean it's coming out this year, by the way.
No,
I think they're ready to announce something. When they announced Scorpio, then they announced that like a year and a half ahead of time, right? Because they announced it with the Series S, the Xbox One S, sorry, right? They announced the Xbox One X, the Scorpio, but they didn't actually tell you about it because it came out a year later, right? But they came out with the One S that summer. I think it came out, the One S. But they showed you, hey, this is what the mid-gen refresh is going to look like, and it's 6T flops and all this whatever, right? And all that stuff. And then it came out the following year. Maybe that's what we see. Maybe they want to create that hype and say, all right, well, here's our new Helix generation box. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's the capability set it's going to have. Here are the design goals, why we went down these certain paths, right? What we expect to see from this, things like that. You're probably not going to see a final design, to be just my guess, because I think they'll probably wait to.
Or
to
we could. It might happen.
But yeah, so I think that you'll get much more like that original Scorpio presentation where they kind of go over the tech of it in a short presentation, right, within the June showcase. That is very viable, and it could be pretty cool, just like they did with the ROG, right, where they had that right in the middle of the June showcase. They showed you the Asus ROG Ally, and the ROG Ally Xbox X and Xbox, right? So it could very well be something like that. It just seems like they're trying to hype it up now, right? It's 2 months ahead of time of the June showcase. Why would you send these things out? I think they're trying to do that hype cycle, and you can kind of see how that's her mindset, right? Is to get you to think about Xbox all the time.
It could just be that. It could just be that she's a good business savvy person and she wants to push the brand as much as possible.
Exactly.
That could be it. Because somebody in the chat, it was Mike Johnson, by the way. He said, Asha don't know what she's doing. Mike, I don't know why you're saying that. Number one. Number two, I've seen more coming out of her than I have with Phil and Sarah in the last 2 years.
Yes.
About this brand.
It feels fun like when Phil first took over. It's like, what are the things we need to turn around? Right. And he's like, we need to do this and turn it on. Like the first few things he did was like take away the Kinect, right? Make it cheaper, backwards compatibility. Do you remember that announcement? Like backwards compatibility, simple things like that. It's like, yeah, this is what people want. Let's just give it to them. Right. And then, the content thing took a while to turn it around. That's fair. It took a while to turn. And I get that. It's tough to have studios. It's tough to get content. Fair enough. And then when he tried to lock down one game, it was the end of the world when he got Tomb Raider. Oh my God. though Square Enix can give games to other people, but it can't happen here. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But but
I mean,
so I think they tried, and I think there was a little bit more excitement in the beginning of Phil's term, just like there can be now with Asha's. And I think she's learning that from Phil, who, by the way, is still there.
yeah, and look, you could say a lot of things about Phil. You could say, because I've heard people say it, right? Phil, like a lot of people were like, well, Phil was on autopilot the last couple of years. He was getting ready for retirement and stuff like that. And I could feel that. Like, okay, that could be true. But what about Sarah? All Sarah really gave us was, this is an Xbox. That's an Xbox. This is an Xbox. That's an Xbox. Your freaking toaster is an Xbox. And it failed miserably. Didn't work out. And I'm not saying, guys, like, oh, Asha's the answer. She's doing so good. Like, we don't know until she actually acts.
Exactly.
Okay.
We
have
yet to know.
No idea. She could be the worst thing for Xbox. And I'm not saying she is,
We don't
but
know.
she could be. We just don't know. But here's what I'm not going to do. Like, I don't glaze any company or whatever, but I do praise companies when I see things looking a bit up for them sometimes. Like, especially with Xbox, they have a lot of lows. And when I see they do something right, I'm going to say, yeah, great, good job. Same thing with PlayStation. I'll do the same thing for them. Always have. But I'm just going to say everything I've seen so far from Asha has been fine with me. I'm not like, oh my God, this is the worst move ever. Like, a lot of people were mad that she wasn't a gamer. And right away I was like, that doesn't bother me. Matter of fact, maybe we need somebody that's more business savvy. All she has to do is understand the gamer. She doesn't have to game herself. Like, all that stuff about her, like playing games and everything with Phil, that to me was all just PR stuff. Like, that I don't care. How are you going to try to turn this company around? That's what I want to see. And that's because it's purely out of competition for me. It's purely out of, I want to see games get better, and you need good leadership for that. So far, she's pretty good. She's pretty good. Until I see more and I see her actions, I see her green light really good things, then I'll give her more praise. But like I said, I don't have anything really bad to say.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Moore, same thing, and I know people will cringe at that, but Peter Moore did not. He was not in the gaming industry, but he understood the
Strauss
target.
Zelnick. Strauss Zelnick is the CEO of freaking Take-Two. He doesn't play games.
Yeah, but
knows what
Peter Moore's
gamers want.
thing was his target audience was the same, and so that's why Sega went to him and said, "Hey, we want you to market to the same target audience that you've been marketing to, but we want it for our console, so in our games, right?" So, and he took it on, and like he was one of the better heads of Xbox, at least when he took over for 360 time, right? So, but yeah, I mean, look, it just depends on if you can figure out how to get the enthusiasm of your target audience, your target market. That's what you need to do. And it looks like she's, kind of got that idea, as far as what you need to do to kind of get that. And, here's another thing is, like, it's been our generation that's been kind of doing this stuff. It's time for some newer people to come in, younger people that have different mindsets to come in and say, well, how do I attract the younger generations? Because if we continue to go down this path of, like, this is going to work as long as the Gen X folks are around, the Boomer folks are around, what happens after that, right? We kind of need to have a continuation, and it's a good thing to bring some millennials in, some Gen Z in to start saying, what do you guys do with this? How do you engage with this in your world when they're talking about TikTok takes away the time from people from playing games? Okay, cool. Who's solving that? People who use it, right? They know what you're going there for. So you need to go get those kind of people. I think it's good to bring in young blood and see if they can try something different. Yep. It was young blood that made Xbox what it is. It was the young, enthusiastic people saying, no, we can do better, who created the freaking platform to begin with. It's a very cool idea to say, why not give some young blood some chance? So maybe this will work. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Right? But
yeah, maybe
I'm willing to give it a chance.
But let me
yeah, go ahead.
Let me break it down in more layman's terms here with what we're seeing now, opposed to what we were seeing. So, at least and it's all rumors and speculation what we're hearing at this point. Oh, internally they're looking at this, they're looking at that. But think about the stuff that they're saying. They're looking at exclusivity. They're looking at maybe lessening the price of Game Pass rather than what we were hearing all the time over there with the last regime. Price hikes, price hikes. Oh my God, let's get rid of, just 4 games. And then everything in the kitchen sink is gone. Like, think about the differences there. And again, rumors and stuff, but they're very, how could I say, some of these rumors have a lot of truth behind them. I know they do because I hear it from certain people that know people.
Yeah.
And it's a different feeling when you see stuff that seems actually pro-consumer, whereas what we were hearing for a while is like price hikes and, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And it was always like really bad. And so you know what? It's different.
I think a lot of that also is just that there's change going on, right? And change is always exciting. Some people hate it, but a lot of people actually want to see, well, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What's going to happen? Right? Like, so I think change itself just is exciting. If like, for most people, you're now like interested. You actually want to see what the heck's going to come next. The not to make this about the other ones, but just interestingly, I'm seeing like Nintendo enthusiasm and then PlayStation kind of like teetering. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's as interesting to me as it was before. Like, I'm not as enthusiastic about my Switch 2. I'll just be honest. I haven't seen anything that's really making me like gravitate towards it at all. Maybe I need that full, Mario or Zelda mainline game or something, but I haven't done that yet. And I don't see anything coming out so far that I care about. Now, look, Pokemon is the top-rated game of the year. Great. I don't play Pokemon. So I'm waiting for something on that platform to make me want to go back there. They've released the console at a much higher price than people were expecting, though I expected it. So I don't know if that platform is really where it used to be either. PlayStation is getting better, but has a lot of things that are going kind of negative on its side as well. So it's just an interesting time, right? That like all 3 platforms kind of just teeter-totter, like, and right now there's a lot more potential for interesting stuff happening on the Xbox side just because of change of leadership. And on the PlayStation side, it doesn't seem like that's happening. Maybe it is. Maybe they will smash it and give us some cool things in the next year or so. So things to look forward to. And then the Nintendo side, you just got a new console, but does it seem like it's like, it doesn't feel like that, does it? Does it feel like it's a new console? Because like normally when the Switch came out, all you heard about was how it sold out, it sold out, it sold out, it sold out. That's not really the case with the Switch 2, is it? And
it's like a 1.5 version. It seems like just a iterative, just like a small jump up.
Yeah, so I don't. It's just interesting how the enthusiasm stuff can just shift around all over the place, right? We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Again, it's all on her. The next year will be very interesting as to what she does, right? I don't know if any of this changes this gen. It might be all next gen, or it's an immediate turnaround and says, we're not putting Gears over there. We're not putting Forza over there. We're not putting. All that could happen. All of it could happen. I don't know. Right.
You could throw everything good I've said about Asha and company right out the window if her actions don't speak. I've got to see it in action. That's it. That's it.
Bring the console price down. That would be fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Consoles need to come down in price big time. It's insane. So with this next story real quick, this is going to be our last one, by the way. It's concerning what we talked about at the beginning of the show, that we were going to have Jake on to talk about this because this was going to be a fun topic, because Jake like destroyed a lot of people on Twitter. And anyways, so PS5 Pro, okay, they got an update for Cyberpunk 2077. It's a good update. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on it. It's a good update for what it is. And this console, the PS5 Pro is a good console. The pisser is good. PSSR 2 is great. However, so I didn't know that there was any kind of like craziness happening, any kind of debates. But I follow Jake on Twitter, so I see Jake post this video. And matter of fact, I've got it right here, and I will add it to the stage. See if I could do that. What? It says, before presenting, remove other media. What media? Oh, maybe that one? There we go. So I'll go ahead and play this. This was his video he made. And he shows the PSSR at work with the new update on the PS5 Pro, because he owns a PS5 Pro. And so a lot of the debate was, because some people were out there stating that this game, mind you, was now with the RT features that are implemented, look just as good as a high-end PC. A lot of people were saying that. And Jake said no. And if you look at this, I know it's a lot of YouTube compression and stuff, but when you move around the camera, around the RT reflections, they just disappear. They don't stay there for long. They just disappear. They go away, and they're not even fully there. Like right there, there's no reflection there when he goes up to the window, but then it'll magically appear, go away. So it's very limited RT, and people are comparing it to even mid-range, mid-range PCs and saying, oh, it's almost just as good. And what Jake is saying here is, no, it's not, because it's not as demanding as the RT, as he'll show you here with his 9070 XT. This is the equivalent of a 4070 Ti, I believe. So it's not 4090. It's not 5090. It's definitely not 5090. It's 4070 Ti or 9070 XT. The reflections stay there. No matter how much you move around, the reflections are even brighter and there. It's different, people. It's on a different level. And what he wanted to drive home is, he told me he couldn't make it because he had to work. He was telling me that, let me pull it up here. Where is it? Jake. Okay. Basically, his whole thing is that, where is it? Gosh, I'm missing it. You guys watch the video for a second. I didn't get rid of it. All right. So basically, it's clear that it's not the full ray tracing you get from a PC. It's not 1-to-1 here, and it's not even at the same resolution. And we are talking about 40 frames here as well with the PS. If you want this, you have to use the 120 hertz mode at 40 frames. That's the max you're going to get here. But the RT, the ray tracing itself, it's just not as demanding. So it's not really as impressive as some people are making it out to be. It's just crazy talk. Okay. And D Batch, unfortunately, shout out to D. I love you, D, but you even compared it to your 5090, and I don't know why you did that. That was insane, but maybe you didn't see that the ray tracing was just going away here and there as the camera moved. I don't know. Hargeet, when you look at this stuff, as a technical person, what do you see it's doing? What would you say that they're doing here?
Look, they're using techniques that have been kind of available on consoles for a while, right? It's you can fake things out and just utilize the power the best you can. And shout out to the people at CD Projekt for doing that. They're taking advantage of the box as much as they can to give you a general feeling of full ray tracing, but it's kind of getting faked here and there. That's fine though, right? They're clipping it off here and there. Most of the times it'll fake it out enough that people will be happy to see it, right? So that's what they're doing. And so am I surprised? No, it's what we're getting into this 5-6 year range in the PS5's life, and now we're adding in a couple of years of the PS5 Pro. They're learning, and they're learning how to take advantage of that architecture and saying, what can we do to just, and like they've always done throughout all the console histories. It's like near the end of the gen, you get more and more pushing of the hardware. That's what these guys are doing. And they've, you know, shout out to them for doing that. That's awesome. But to compare, like, I'm always amazed at how people can take something that is 16 T-flops and say that's going to be the equivalent of something that's 123. Like that, they're not in the same league. Like, there's no reason to compare the two.
When I go to the PC version here, and then I go back to the Pro,
it fakes it out. And you know, but again, for most people, it's probably going to be okay. It's something, right? And it's, you get something. Now, if you want the whiz bang, of course, just go buy a PC, spend the money, you'll have all this whiz bang. This isn't even path tracing. This is just ray tracing, right? So we get path tracing if you have a high enough PC, right? So, but like, there's just no reason to compare these things. Now, I'll even back D a little bit where he's saying, hey, we should give it some props in that it's handling this capability, right? Yeah, no doubt. So look, these boxes all promise that they would be able to do RT. It would just suck in performance, and that's literally what's happening here. They're taking away that 60, right? That was the promise of the Pro, was you would get sort of the quality graphics with the performance, the 60 frames, right? That you would get on the base model, you would get that on the Pro with the performance, right? But they're saying, let's forsake the performance. And you knew that was going to happen, right? So let's forsake the performance and maybe bump the graphics up even a little bit more. Okay, fair enough, right? So that's what they're doing. So look, is this surprising that they're going to find techniques like this? No, everybody's done all these fake outs all the time to try to make it look awesome. Great. But you know, for those who know what's going on underneath, we're not going to get fooled. It's just, you can't tell me something that has that much oomph is suddenly going to be outperformed by something that has this much oomph. It's just not going to work. So, you know, it is what it is. But again, you can pull a lot out of whatever they have. That's what they're doing. And, you know, kudos to them and many others who do these kind of things. Id's another one. They like pull magic out of whatever they can out of your box and give them, you know, capabilities. That's awesome. But it's not the equivalent of raw grunt. You're not gonna
and it's like it's not just the areas where they're ray tracing too, and it like cuts away. It's also the fact that they have implemented ray tracing only on certain areas, whereas on the PC side, it's everywhere. The RT is everywhere. Like the reflections, everything, you see it everywhere. But here it's very selected. Like, here's some RT in this window. Here's some in this puddle, but it's not going to be on this window over here. It's that sort of thing. And again, it comes down to hardware limitation. And this is why a lot of people, when they speak on it, you know, a lot of console guys do this. They'll speak on it as if, oh, it's just as good as your PC. You spent how much on that thing? It's like, guys, PC guys aren't trying to compare their rigs to your console because they know they've spent a pretty penny on their PC. They know it's way more expensive than what you've got. You should understand that the other way around. You should understand that, yes, a $900 console isn't going to be as good as even a high-end, you know, mid-range PC, 4070 Ti. It's not going to be that good, let alone a 4090 or a 5090. That's all we're saying. And that's what Jake wanted to come on and reiterate, because he's tired of seeing this kind of discourse where people don't know the tech, yet they just keep talking about the tech and pretending that everything's one-to-one, and it's just not. I think that is really the gist of what he wanted to do.
Audio ray tracing is another cool thing, by the way. But anyway,
we're not doing it to like shit on the PS5 Pro at all. I own a PS5 Pro, and I think it's great. Like I said, for what it is, for how much it is, it's an awesome little machine, awesome console. But it does not touch my 4090. Does not come close to my 4090. I played this game with path tracing, okay? Looks so much better than what you're seeing with this 9070 XT, let alone the PS5 Pro. Like, it's not even close.
why does a PS5 have to compare to a PC? I don't understand why that comparison even has to be made.
I think
I'm
it's
just so confused
because
by that.
fanboys versus fanboys. It's always
Yeah,
a
I just don't
thing.
get
It's
it.
like just people should learn to know their lane and just stick to it. Like if you're really a tech savvy person and you're on the level of a Hargeet or a Jake or a Zocker and you guys know tech and you know what the fuck you're talking about, maybe I'll listen. But some of you just don't know. You don't know.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm not
mean,
even taking a dig at D. D does know tech. D does know hardware, especially.
yep.
I don't know that D, well, I do know that D is not as good at software as you or Zocker.
Yeah.
I think you guys know software a lot more than he does. Hardware, he's really good at. But I don't know why he said what he said or what, when he was comparing the 5090 and stuff. Like, it's not the same thing. Like, it's just not. It's not 1-to-1. Can't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
I don't know. Have you ever heard a lot of people on the PC side comparing each other? Like, you only have a 4060. Oh, like I don't understand. Like,
No, that doesn't happen.
Right.
Matter
Like,
of fact,
the
like
4060 is what you got. Great.
yeah. Matter of fact, for me, like this is just a personal choice. Like if I'm playing a game and it's especially a UE5 game, especially if it's really freaking heavy on the GPU and the CPU even, I will just pare down my settings before I get into things like frame gen. That's just me. So my game might look uglier than your game, Hargeet, with your 4090. But that's just because I prefer to get, you might be okay with 60 frames on that game. I want 120. I want 240 if I can get it. Yeah. And I do that with my games. On some of the games, I play that high a freaking frame rate because I prefer the feel of that over shiny graphics, even though I do like graphics, but I like my frame rates.
Yeah, speaking of like Crimson, for instance, also like it kills the system, right? So I bumped it down from 4K to 1440. I'm like, I don't need it to be at 4K. I'll do 1440
just
and upscale
you don't
it.
even need to do that. Bump down the max lighting to cinematic and you're good.
Yeah, I could try that too, but yeah.
Yeah, because
hate
that is
changing
the
all of those
resource hog.
settings. I like to keep them all ultra.
No. But everything else is cinematic. It's just that one setting that says max.
Yeah.
So I put that down and it's so much better. Yeah.
And this, by the way, is the cool thing about PC. You can tailor it to whatever you like, right? So and like you're saying, I think 60 is like a good level, and then I can feel it up to about 90 to 100. So I prefer to stay at least there. Beyond that, it's okay. If it gets beyond like it's 120, that's fine. I think I can feel it when it's up to about 90 to 100 frames. I can feel the difference, and then after that, it's like okay, now it's just gravy, whatever, it's fine. But so I try to target 100 at least if I can get it. What the heck? Let's try to get 100. But yeah.
Harry Ballsack says, Fonz, do you use a PS5 controller or an Xbox controller on PC? I'll show you what I use.
Neither.
A GameSir controller, Xbox style, with 2 buttons on the back and staggered sticks. I don't use a PlayStation controller on it because I loathe the way the sticks are on a PlayStation controller.
Symmetrical.
I do not like them side by side. I don't mind the rest of the controller. I'm cool with it. It's just I don't like I prefer the staggered sticks. So it's not like I can't use the PlayStation controller. I could, but I prefer an Xbox style controller. And when I say that, it's just based on the staggered sticks. It has nothing to do with Xbox per se. Like they created that. Now, mind you, and it was great. So I've stuck with it since Xbox Xbox days. OG. Like I've loved the staggered sticks. Yeah. I'll never switch from that. Unless I have to when I play a Sony game on the Pro. But yeah, I should try to see if there is a staggered stick controller for the Pro. Because I would definitely use it.
They're allowing that now. Because there was a while where PlayStation was being annoying and they wouldn't allow anything but the DualSense for PlayStation 5 games. which was just stupid. But I think they now allow third-party controllers, so that should allow you to get a staggered sticks controller for the PlayStation.
Mass produce. I will agree with you. The DualSense didn't really hit me at all. Like the gimmicks, I call them, on there with the features, the feedback, and all that, the haptics, until I played Astrobot. I think Astrobot was beautifully done with all the tech in that controller, because it basically showed off the controller, and it's awesome. Like, Astrobot is an awesome game. I think it's awesome. And yeah, when you're walking across the sand and stuff, you can feel it in the controller. That is cool. That is cool. I like that. If they can implement that sort of stuff into other games as well as they do with Astrobot, I'd welcome it. I'd completely welcome it. But yeah, I think even Xbox is going to do something like that. I think with their future controller, they're going to add more haptics and stuff and give you more feedback on your controller. Soil Tech, yes, please hit that like button. It's good to see you, buddy. Soil Tech, Mo, are you going to be in LA this year? If so, I will see you there, buddy.
I think he lives there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lives there, but I don't know if he's going to FanFest and everything.
No, he was. Yeah. Well, he was part of the thing we did last time. So.
Oh yeah. He should be good. Yeah, definitely. We'll meet up. So J Slayer J66 says the Nacon Revolution Pro 5 is good, and it's got Hall effects joysticks. Are they staggered though, like the Xbox controller? My GameSir controller has Hall effects sticks too. That's one of the reasons why I went with GameSir. Shout out to Soil Tech, because he's the one that showed me the GameSir controllers. And he was right. GameSir is awesome. So
I just did a quick search for it. It looks like it is.
Nice.
It is staggered. Yeah, it's staggered sticks.
Nice. Nacon. Okay. I'll that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely look into it.
Officially licensed PlayStation wireless controller for PS5, 4, PC, Hall effects, trigger stops, map buttons, whatever. So, and you have different colors.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna look it up myself. Nacon.
It's expensive. It's $200.
Yeah, let's back off on that, guys. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, that's. Look, the GameSir controller was like $40. Like, a far cry from that much. Like, I hate even spending money on an official Xbox controller because they're like $80. That's a game. That's a freaking game. Now, I won't go so cheap with the controller like the Mad Cats and stuff like that. Remember those back in the day? I remember when we would have cousins over and stuff. My mom would be like, oh, do you need extra controllers? And she'd go buy the cheapest freaking controllers for my cousins and stuff. And they were like the Mad Cats, and they broke like within a week. They're the worst controllers ever. You remember those, Hargeet? Those really cheap controllers? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Those were bad. Fun times back in the day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, it was a lot of fun today. It was good talking to everybody. Hargeet, wonderful talking to you again and about this stuff. It's a lot of fun. Let everybody know where they can find you, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I'll be on with Boom tomorrow, 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, Double Barrel Gaming. Check that out, and we'll see if Honey and Doodle do their show again this Friday. He's been busy with work, but so 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Friday, and then with Web Dave on Sunday, 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Check that out, and we'll be back next Tuesday. See what's going on.
Yeah, we will be back next Tuesday. Hopefully we get a lot more news. And it was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you for coming out, listening, watching. Hit that like button, please, on your way out. And of course, until next time, game on, people.